the WNBA is losing money, and it's going to lose money for the foreseeable future. There is a big but here. These figures, by the way, are absolutely not. It says here, the first report salary from the player side, per documentation obtained by ESPN, November's 28 proposal featured a projected salary cap of 12.5 million, average of 1 million per player salary, max salary of 2.5 million. That's not going to happen. The reason why is because
the room became silent. Phones stopped vibrating. According to sources inside the league, the WNBA commissioner was outraged because everything changed the instant Caitlin Clark's new Nike commercial aired. Not just headlines or social media, but hundreds of millions of dollars. What occurred next is individuals inside the WNBA mumbling the term disaster. Stay till the finish because this story just gets crazier. For months, Caitlin Clark was more than simply a novice. She embodied the moment. Sold out arenas, record TV ratings, merchandise flying off the shelves, and then Nike came in. A commercial, simple, clear, and ruthless, with no league logos or commissioner statements.
And you might be saying, what does that mean? Sorry, if it was only the owners signing off on this would be signed already. Because you might be saying, oh, WNBA owners don't want to lose money. $700 million of losses. There will be, by the end of this deal, there will be 20 WNBA teams. That is $35 million per WNBA team over the course of, I think, 7 years. That is $5 million a year lost per team, while franchise values are increasing by 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 million a year. Like, every single owner would say yes. The problem is that insert person here, insert investor here that was in 2022, insert NBA owner that has nothing to do with the WNBA here, insert all of them people here, because at the end of the day, these people they're only in this for...
There's no team first message, just Caitlin Clark. Buckets of confidence, star power. Within hours, fans stopped talking about the WNBA. They were discussing Caitlin Clark, the brand. That's when panic apparently reached its peak. Inside league circles, insiders believed the reaction was explosive since the WNBA was not simply seeing a player triumph. They were watching as control slipped away. That Nike ad did not promote the league. It didn't convey a unified message. It did not seek authorization. Everyone was reminded of one stark truth. Caitlin Clark does not need the WNBA. The WNBA need Caitlin Clark. And this reality made those at the top very uneasy. Then came the suggestion, which insiders claim was designed to safeguard the league. Revenue restructuring, tighter sponsorship controls, and harsher rules for individual branding. On paper, it seemed like power. However, analysts immediately cautioned that it may cost the league up to $700 million in long-term growth. Why? Because you don't confine your main interest. You don't muffle the voice that attracts new fans. And you certainly don't slow down when the world is finally watching. Nonetheless, the initiative moved forward, and fans took note.
You feel more comfortable that I could maybe dunk in a few weeks or get better at shooting?
In a few weeks? Oh, boy. Is that what we're calling that? All you need is a few
30
weeks?
days.
30 days. 30 days is what I'm going for.
I told him he had to lose at least 20 pounds and get the technique down perfectly.
I think you need to start with like a tennis ball. Then you get the tennis ball, you go to like a volleyball, then you go to a basketball. I mean, don't ask me. I obviously don't dunk.
Are you dunking?
Heck no. I could maybe like grab the rim, but like I just shoot three.
The reaction was swift. Social media erupted. Why punish the sole reason I'm watching? Stop destroying your own star. This league is averse to success. Former players weighed in. Media personalities questioned the leadership. Sponsors quietly began evaluating future deals. And in the midst of it all, Caitlin Clark said nothing. No tweets, interviews, or clapbacks, just hoops. And somehow, the silence seemed louder than any words. This is when things get terrifying for the league. Marketing specialists started breaking it down. Caitlin Clark's presence was more than just revenue. She represented future value, young fans, emerging demographics, and worldwide reach. And if the league was perceived as antagonistic to its own star, the money would not disappear. It walks away from companies, endorsements, and platforms beyond the league's control. That is where the $700 million nightmare stems from. Not a single deal, but years of squandered opportunities.
A lot of money, or like, it's not a lot of money. The problem is that even though each team is losing 5 million, on average, the owners are profiting, but it's those 58% of people, and they're eating losses. They're funding this league. They're not going to continue. 58% of people who will never see the profits are not going to continue funding the league, and that is the situation we're in. Is that I don't think people realize how dire straits we're in. Is that the 58% might literally dissolve the league. It is better for the 58% to dissolve the league because as long as the league's not profitable, franchise values doesn't matter for them. Literally, it is the fact that they sold money off to investors, and they expect those investors like the NBA and those outside investors to continue to fund a loss leader. And people are like, oh, they can write it off as taxes, these billionaire owners. Not everything's a billionaire owner. And by the way, people don't understand. It's like, oh, write off as taxes. You're still losing the money. You're like, oh yeah, you don't pay tax on it. It's like, but there's nothing for it. Like, it's not a play thing for these things, for these teams. Nobody just wants to burn money. Nobody burns money. Even if it is for taxes, that's not how it works. If you lose 5 million, you don't pay 5 million less in taxes. If you lose 5 million based on corporation tax, you might pay $1 million less in taxes. You're still losing 4 million from your company. Corporation tax. What is corporation tax in States? I know it's only 12.5% here, but we're a tax haven, so shout out corporation tax, baby. Saved me a boatload of money. But yeah, it's one of those things where I don't think people realize just how dire straits the WNBA is in, that we're at a situation now where there is a possibility that they could just say, fuck this, we're done.
This is the wildest portion. The WNBA has pushed for decades to be taken seriously. They panicked when they realized they had a crossover superstar. Instead of riding the waves, they attempted to steer the ocean. However, stars do not move in the same way that organizations do. They influence culture. Caitlin Clark had already done this. Insiders claim things are currently tense. Very tense. Because every game Caitlin plays, every highlight she creates, and every kid who wears a jersey confirms one thing. You cannot create a phenomenon. You may either accept it or lose everything while attempting to maintain control. So, this is a true question. Did the WNBA simply gamble with its future? Is this the time when the league finally evolves? Share your opinions in the comments. If you were expecting this, please like the video. Subscribe if you want to hear the stories that no one else will. Because the Caitlin Clark narrative is only getting begun. 1.